Well, good morning, everyone. This is Erica Savage Wilson, and you are tuned in to the Savage Political Bite. Today is Monday, August 24th, 2020. We have 70 days to go until we get into November 3rd. So I hope that you are ready. I hope that you have your voting plan. I hope that you have your voting outfit. And I hope you have researched your ballot so you'll know exactly who is on the ballot. Thank you so much for joining this morning. And we're trying something live today. All right. So it's so good to see everybody. I'm going to give a couple minutes for everybody to come on in, get on in here. All right. So it's good to see you. We kind of have a new setup here going on this morning. Let me know what you're thinking about. Think about it. We have now the Savage Political Bite has a countdown, has a reminder, right? So I hope that this helps everyone in how we're sharing the Savage Political Bite, getting people more connected to our number one morning political primer in the nation every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30 a.m. So let me know what you think. Definitely evolving and growing, and I hope that this is definitely something that's working. So as everybody is coming in, make sure that you actually share this video out. And I have a couple of reminders at the end of the video, but we're going to get into the first three pieces for the day. So I want to go ahead and say good morning to, as I'm looking down a little bit, good morning, Aaron. Good morning to you, Dietrich Thomas. Good morning, Mom and Dad. Love you all so much. Great to see you. Good morning, Aaron. Always good to see you, sis. And hey, Debbie. So thank you, everybody, so much for joining. We're going to go ahead and get started here in just a second. Um, we're going to be talking about this morning, just so you'll have an idea of those 3 points. We're going to be talking about the operation to block the vote. And that is something I think everybody's going to be interested in. We're also going to be talking about the House. They came back to D.C. over the weekend and approved $25 billion to be injected into the Postal Service. And then the third thing that we're going to talk about is that this week, we have the RNC convention, the unconventional convention. Last week it was the DNC. And then this week is the RNC, starts tonight, runs through Thursday, right? Um, and very interesting footnote here is how much the Republicans are investing in ad buys and when they're going to start that. So we're in the intentionality behind it. They've already have ads that are rolling out, but some real intentional ads. So we'll definitely be talking about that. So let's go ahead and get kicked off with the bite and talking specifically about Operation Block the Vote. Now, when you think about Operation Block the Vote, let's talk about where that came from. So on last Friday, the Postmaster General Louis DeJoy actually testified before the Senate. And that was considered to be some preparation for what will happen when he testifies before the House this week. That was really important because there were questions that were asked of him around the nearly 700 mailboxes that were removed from neighborhoods, also around sorting machines that had been dismantled. Some of them had been broken down, about having those back up and running, because I know we talked about on the bite last week that mail had been postmarked as early as August the 7th, had not yet been delivered. Well, members of the Oversight Committee from the House side actually found that there is mail that has not been delivered dating back to the month of July. And July seems further away because this is our last official week in August, right? Next week, we got the 30th, 31st, and then we go into the 1st of September. So when we think about that, we're talking about July. This has been something that has definitely been happening for quite some time. We think about a few Fridays ago, there were 23 Postal Service top officials that were either that the positions that they occupied, they were moved from those positions to other positions. Some were let go. So when we think about all of these different mechanisms that the top Republican donor, Postmaster Louis DeJoy, put into place in order to support the slowing down of the mail. It's really, really important to remember how he has been treating the Postal Service, which is to do the bidding of Donald Trump. So when we talk about Operation Block the Vote, there is no assurance that those mailboxes will be put back into place. The $25 billion to help ensure that there's overtime so that the mail that has not been delivered as far back as July and this month will in fact be delivered, right? And that also, as a part of that $25 billion that the House passed, to also say that no further changes can be made for the remainder of this year by the Postal Service. Now, here's where all of this is interesting. This was the House that did that. The floor vote was 257 to 150, I believe that it is. So that's about 407 votes. So you have about 28 members of the House that abstained from voting, did not vote. But when you think about um, what all of these things mean, it does not mean a lot because we have a Republican controlled Senate. And so it's definitely not going to be put to a floor vote to, in fact, make sure that those changes happen. I said all of that to say this is why it is so very important to ensure that when you are voting, when you are casting your vote, and I've said this so many times, it is not just about the person in the White House. It is about an entire body. It is about the White House, but it is also about the Senate, right? It is also about retaining the House, and then it is also about building up influence within state government, making sure that folks that come on, that do run for executive office, that we do have folks that are representative of the body that are in those executive seats. So it is more than just about, well, who's in the White House, because it takes more than that. And just to remember that when whomever is in the White House is president, that again, that vice president is also president of the Senate. So we want to be able to move money. We want to be able to make sure that there's a cabinet that has an understanding that their position is not for grifting. It is not to enact policies that will, in fact, hurt the people that they're supposed to be protecting, but that they will, in fact, ensure that whatever cabinet position it is that they have, that those cabinet positions actually do reflect different voices that are of the people, so to speak. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done on Operation Block the Vote, but that is definitely going to be very much so on the shoulders of us, the voters. Who are we saying that we, in fact, want to hire to run the country? Because again, this is the White House is the people's house. So who is it that we are going to put confidence in and hire to make sure that they are not using the Postal Service to hold your mail hostage, whatever it is that you get through mail, and to ensure, in fact, that their president stays in office, so to speak. So the other piece behind that is that when we're talking about voting, and we'll be talking about this some more this week, is voter intimidation tactics that are around the vote. So we'll just kind of put a pin in that, but we'll be talking about that, and that is specifically related to Donald Trump wanting to deploy or actually issuing the call for sheriff, law enforcement, attorneys general to be manning polling locations this coming up. So they are trying to really make it so that there is no exit. So they want to control Postal Service and make sure that the mail is slowed down. And then also for the in-person piece, they in fact want to intimidate voters by having the presence of law enforcement asking for ID upon anyone arriving at a polling location. So these are classic tactics that have been used many times throughout history. We've read about this. For some of us, we're actually living, breathing, and seeing this for the first time. However, there are things that we can do to make sure that we understand that we are the ones that actually have the power. So we'll be talking about that a little bit later this week. Um, the next point that I wanted to make is the theme for the RNC this week. So we've already gone over Operation Block the Vote. We've talked about the House and the $25 billion that they came in on Saturday to approve to inject into the Postal Service and block any further changes throughout the remainder of 2020. And the last piece is the RNC convention this week. So stayed up all last week and provided analysis this last week, every night of the week around the DNC convention, which was absolutely stunning. One of the, and I just want to kind of contrast, right? So, one of the main themes that you saw within the DNC was these unfolding layers. It was real powerful storytelling, right? So you saw leadership, you saw the influence of state and local leadership, you saw the influence of folks who been doing work around real important issues within our nation. One thing that you saw for me that I felt like was overarching is that the messaging was centered and lifted up the people. It lifted up 320 plus million Americans in this nation. So everything that we saw was centered and lifted up, and you saw accounts, you saw and heard people's stories. So people were the focus of the message. It really transcended party. It was a message that really said, listen, we definitely have critical issues. Our democracy is at stake. And no matter what your party affiliation is, if you want to have some semblance of democracy, if you want to have a national testing strategy, if you want to improve the standing of the United States, if you want to see different policies that were rolled back to be rectified so that you have clean water, so that we have clean air. We want to ensure that as we're in this public health crisis, that there is availability for people to participate in the exchange. We don't want to have 10 million additional Americans lose health care, economics, the economic crisis and the housing crisis that we're in, and the food insecurity crisis. All of these different pieces, if you want people within your house, the people's house, if you want to see folks who have leaders flanked around them that are very smart people that listen to science, and people who abide in their faith, then this is the choice that needs to be made, right? So that was the case that the DNC put forth Biden Harris ticket, right? So when we look at the RNC convention, you have Trump that'll be speaking all 4 days. He will be accepting the nomination from the South Lawn of the White House. Very strange, and the convention, the RNC convention, was previously going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina. North Carolina said nope. Then they moved to Jacksonville, Florida. The COVID numbers were raised exponentially and went up exponentially rather in July. Back to Charlotte, where you have some delegates that'll be there on a much smaller scale, but I guess maybe the other 80% of their convention will be virtual, and then they'll have some activities at an auditorium here in the DC area. All of that laid out to say the speakers that you'll have. We saw a wide array of speakers during the DNC's convention last week. Well, this week you'll see 6 members of Donald Trump's family, one of which is employed by you all, that is in Ivanka Trump. You'll also see the McCloskeys. The McCloskeys will speak at the convention. They were the couple that brandished assault weapons at Black Lives Matters protesters. They live on a private street, and these protesters were silently protesting, and they went out and got weapons and threatened their life. They will be speaking at the RNC convention. They out of St. Louis. Then you'll also have Nick Sandman, who um, when during the Brett Kavanaugh hearing, there was a bus full of kids from his private school in, guess what? Guess what state? Kentucky. Yep, Mitch McConnell land. And there were Native Americans that were there drumming. Excuse me, were in D.C. Drumming peacefully by the monument, and he was the boy that went up, and you saw the him kind of face to face with that particular Native American leader, imitating him on the drums. Excuse me. That boy will be speaking at the RNC convention, who sued the Washington Post and CNN for not reporting the story correctly. That is who will be at the RNC. And let me then give you some more folks that will be at the RNC. South Carolina Senator Tim Scott. South Carolina's also Nikki Haley. Also, Senators Marsha Blackburn and Joni Ernst, both of Blackburn is out of Tennessee, Joni Ernst is out of Iowa. You'll also have Tom Scott, who definitely has been making it, who has made it his mission to ensure that the 1619 Project is not taught in schools. We talked about this on the Savage Political Bite some time ago. And if it is, he wants to make it so that the schools will not be funded properly if they're going to replace what he believes to be American history with American history as it is, right? That is Tom Scott, who is a very much so known racist. Then you have, of course, Mitchell McConnell, who will be speaking, whose fealty towards the Republican Party and Donald Trump, and making sure that the Senate stays under his thumb and that judges are continually confirmed. He will be speaking. And then, of course, you have to have Secretary Ben Carson, who is the Secretary of HUD, unfortunately. He'll be speaking. And then the last speaker will be Alice Marie Johnson. You all remember Miss Johnson. Miss Johnson was serving a life sentence in a federal prison on a drug charge from 1996. She served 21 years and was released in 2018. And she will be speaking at the RNC convention as well. So, um, it's going to be quite interesting. But again, I'll be providing analysis all week long. So I did that last week, and when I have those links, I'll definitely be dropping those links for you. It's going to be a really interesting week, but hoping to inject some things that really do help people to really understand and really appreciate the gravity of the moment that we're in right now. And that does it for today's Savage Political Bite. Just a couple of reminders, and of course, making sure that we do those things that help us power through our day. I did an interview with Dr. Narkita Sparkman Key. Dr. Key, the name of her podcast is Making It Plain with Dr. Key. Dr. Key focuses on mental health and suicide, specifically with youth. So she's an amazing, amazing sister. That dropped at midnight. So please check that episode out. We talk politics and how people can engage. So really excited about that. It's on Making It Plain with Dr. Key. It's on iHeart, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. So please check that interview out. And then also, I've already shared with you, we'll definitely be providing analysis this week for the RNC convention. And of course, be on rolling on Thursday. And just moving. So hope that everyone will be checking out links and things that I'll be posting this week. And then everyone, because it is a beautiful, beautiful Monday, our last full week of August, I cannot believe it. Need you to do two things for me. Number one, make sure you are taking your 10 purposeful breaths in the morning. The sun here is shining brightly and lovely, so hope that you go out and make sure you get you some sun today, get some food, so please make sure you do that. And make sure you do your additional 10 purposeful breaths at night before you retire. And then also, we always have to do this is make sure that the first voice that you hear in the morning is your voice and that you are speaking beautifully and powerfully over yourself, right? Because we have much to do and a lot in front of us. So I'm just going to look down here at my phone and see who's all joining us and give you a good morning shout out. And good morning to you, my big sister, my love, Dr. Wendy Wilson. Good morning, Wynn. Good morning, Pam. Always great to see you. Good morning, Mogul. Good morning, Sharon. How you doing? Good to see you. Good morning, Tanya. Tanya says, good morning, Bike Gang. I love that. Um, that's right. We the people. Good morning, Reverend Lyons. I don't know if you're still on, but awesome to have you here. My good sis, my friend, my health and wealth partner, I will say Dr. Tanya Sloans. Good morning, Power Woman Sloans. Always fantastic to see you. Good morning, Sandy Moore. Thank you so much for joining. Good morning, Felicia Nicole, our friend and author. Great to see you. My sister, my friend, Karan. You all can thank this lovely shot to the beautiful Karan. Good morning, Karan. Good to see you. Thank you, Priscilla. Always fantastic to see you. Lily, it's been a minute. Hey, boo. Always good to see you. And Charlie Bridges, thank you so much for joining. I'm ecstatic to have you all here on this Monday. So, what you can do to help me, I'm asking you to do this. If you would please share the Savage Political Bite. Listen, we want to grow our game. We want to grow the bite game. But most importantly, particularly as we move towards 7 days, the bite game, are going to be definitely drilling down to becoming even more narrow and focused in what we're talking about and how we're informing. Because I've said this, but I believe it bears saying again, I'm not doing uninformed conversations. There is, and what I mean by that, there is a lot of chatter around some of the more ridiculous pieces that do have found their way into politics and really kind of manifesting themselves in an unhealthy way. My focus is you, right, and unregistered voters, not people who want to make an argument for who they believe the best candidate is and why, in fact, in this really dire hour that we're in, that they, believe that someone should have an opportunity, or let's pull up all these different receipts that have no bearing really on the present moment. I'm not doing those conversations. Those are conversations that we definitely could have had maybe 3 years ago, but not in this moment. The moment that we are in right now, we need people who are unregistered to get registered to vote, and we need to make sure that we have our voting plan together, our voting outfit together, and that we also have researched and understand what's on the ballot and who's on the ballot, so that when we enter into our polling location, if we're voting in person, that we know exactly who and what we're voting for. And the same thing if there is an absentee ballot. Anything other than that, listen, we have friends in Belarus that can tell you right now here in 2020 that they have a president that refuses to leave office. These are things that have been happening through and over time. If we believe ourselves that this cannot happen in the United States, it absolutely can, and it will not be pretty. So that is my very narrow focus of voters and people that I'm having conversations with. I'm not creating space for anything else because there's too much at stake. So all of that to say, I appreciate everyone on the Bike Gang. Thank you, everyone that's sharing out these videos. And that's why I definitely want to continue to evolve and improve it, because we definitely want to bring more people and expand our message out. So you can do that if you know, like, and trust me. If you believe that I am, in fact, a trusted broker, I would appreciate and be so grateful to share this video. All right, good people. Well, listen, what time we got now? It is 7:54. We finished up a little early. I see you, Bike Gang. You know I'm down there with you. Thank you so very much. You make this possible. This is for you. I hope that these videos and the conversations that we have 3 days a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, the accompanying newsletter that you get, the analysis that's provided. I hope that that is helpful. And also want to say to every educator, to every parent, to every grandparent, to every guardian, to everybody who has stewardship over a number of people, if you are entering and walking into a college environment, if you are walking into a school this morning, if you are an administrator and you're walking into your halls this morning, also if you're working virtually as an administrator, as an educator, as a parent, as a grandparent, guardian that now has to assume another kind of layer of duty, I want to say to you, listen, you are really um, we're well, I'll say this. Thank you for everything that you have done leading up to this place. And I hope that the blessings, that the covering of protection and safety will be all around you. I hope that if you're weary, if you're tired, if you are, have concerns, if you're scared, if you're afraid, that those things will be quelled by some kind of reassurance that you are in fact protected and that you are safe. For those people that really, really have to make tough decisions, I really hope that you are able to make those decisions with people around you that rally around you, and just really want to say thinking of you because I cannot imagine as people are facing decisions around having to send their children to school, as educators face decisions around whether or not to return to the classroom, or if you already have been in the classroom, what kind of weight that is. But I do want to say you are definitely thought of, definitely as I do breath work and just throughout the day, definitely praying over you, just writ large, and just really hoping for the best outcomes for you and for your family. You are not forgotten, educator. You are not forgotten, administrator. You are not forgotten, parent, grandparent, guardian. Definitely thinking and praying and hoping for nothing but the best for you. And you also are the reason that I am making sure that I vote. You deserve leadership that definitely will not politicize the very important job that you do. My mother is an educator who just transitioned into the chapter 2 of her life. I don't like to say retired, but transitioned into the chapter 2 of her life. And my grandmother, my late grandmother, was an educator. Aunts and uncles who were educators have served that. My sister, who I love so very dearly, is an educator. So my heart for educators is very, very tender. And I said all of that to say that I've seen your sacrifices that you've had to make. And I do hope, very much so, that you actually get the leadership that you deserve and that you are protected very much so through this amazing time that we are all in history. So if you know an educator, please send them some love today. Send them a text, something. They are quite the powerful group of people. So thinking of each and every one of you, all of you, Dr. Wendy Wilson, Felicia, all of you all, everybody that's on this particular live right now. We love you, and we're definitely thinking and praying over you. All right. All right, good people. So listen, it is a great day. I hope that you all have a powerful, powerful Monday. Again, thank you so much for connecting with the Savage Political Bite, for connecting with me. It means everything. And I will see you tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Not tomorrow. I will see you all. I tried to add another day. We're not going to do that. But I will definitely see you all on Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. right here on Facebook Live for another Savage Political Bite. Listen, I love you. Bless you. Thank you. Hey, Sherry. Yes. Amen, Sherry. Amen, amen, amen. All right. Listen, I love you. Bless you. Have an amazing day. And I will see you right back here Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. Bye bye, gang. Have a good day.